Let's see. I'll give you a second to hop on. Feel free to say hello. I like it when you guys chat with me a little bit and I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. That's always cool. In case you're new here, I'll shout out first. I love sharing my story with other people. I love giving other people hope. In fact, my passion is definitely helping other people to find their joy again. And so I do two lives every Monday. I posted in the comments, at least it should be in the comments. I posted in the comments the links to my other pages. So I do have an energy healing, energy balancing business that I do. And I put the link for that group in there as well. But I just am here to help other people just to have some, honestly, just to have some hope, right? That things can get better. So that is my overall goal. Tonight, we are going to talk about meanie people. So I want to help you wrap your head around what's going on, because when you do, then you will have the ability to just freaking let it go. And at this time of the year, there is nothing more beautiful than letting it go. Now, if you are new, you're going to see something or realize something really quickly. I love everyone, but I am highly irritated by people as well. And I'm probably a little bit different than a lot of energy practitioners just because I am all about love and happiness and peace and joy and bringing everyone to a higher level vibration. But I definitely am also too about holding people accountable. You've got to take some responsibility for yourself, kids, or it'll never work for you. Hello, Lisa. Oh my goodness, you posted something today. I think it was from today. I don't know. I saw it today, so it could have been another day, but you were eating something. It looked like a chicken fried steak or a country fried steak or whatever part of the country you're from fried steak with macaroni and cheese. And I'm telling you, I have done keto for almost 3 years now, and that was probably a picture that I normally would have not been enticed by food, but that one really got me. I was like, well, if I were going to cheat on keto today, that would be the meal I would choose. It looked amazing. I probably was a little hungry too when I saw it. Okay, so I want to talk about meanie weenies. And I actually saw somebody a minute ago make a post and I was like, why do people do this? And then I thought, oh yes, why do people do this? That's exactly what we're talking about tonight. So it's a great way to open this up, I'll tell you. So this was a person that I saw their comment, and she was making a comment about how she just can't win. She's widowed. So she was saying something along the lines of, she talks about her spouse that passed away, then she's, being a victim and using it for her advantage or whatever. Those weren't her exact words, but I'm just relaying to how I read into it. So I could be totally wrong too, but she was saying that, if she talks about him, then she gets flack. If she doesn't talk about him, then people are like, oh, you don't even feel sad that he's gone. Like you just picked up and moved on. And, my response to her was, don't people please, because this is you and your situation and you do what resonates with you. Because either way, you're going to have somebody criticize what you're doing. And you will live a life of misery if everything that you are doing is based off of what other people are thinking. Like you just can't win in that space. And it's like one of the biggest energy suckers is trying to make people happy. I don't owe it to anyone to explain my situation. I don't owe it to anyone to explain the choices that I'm making. I don't owe that to anyone except for myself, my higher level maker, whatever that is for you, God, energy, whatever resonates with you. You do not need to justify. Now, I'm going to caveat that with, you can't go out and kill someone just because you're like, well, I don't care what people think. Like, that's not really, don't take it to the extreme, right? But I'm just saying, if I want to, someone made a comment about Christmas lights, about how the Christmas lights are already out and it's just disgusting. And I was like, why? Why is it disgusting? Let people do them. Like, I don't care if you want to put your Christmas lights up. Does it make you happy? So when I see someone doing something, instead of looking at them and judging and being like, why are you doing that? I think to myself, it's making them happy. And then that thought goes away. If I see that you have your Christmas tree up right now, does it make you happy? Then I'm happy for you. Then I'm happy for you. If I ever come to Arkansas, I will absolutely. I actually have a super good friend that moved to Arkansas maybe 2 months ago, but I don't know whereabouts she is. But you guys have a big Post, like cereal company, Post plant somewhere in Arkansas, and she relocated from Utah to Arkansas, and she's awesome. She's one of my best mentors I've ever had. Okay. So where do we get frustrated? Well, number one, you get frustrated with how people are being mean because you don't understand, like, how could someone do that? So when you're watching someone else and you're just like, I don't understand how you could do that. Like, how could you say that? How could you use someone like that? How could you be that way? Whatever. Let it go, because you don't want to understand how they can do that to someone else. You don't want to understand how they live with themselves knowing that they, lived rent free for 2 months and took advantage of you. Whatever that is, you don't want to know how someone said a word to you or said a sentence to you that is the most horrifying thing that anyone could ever say to a person. You don't want to understand. You don't want to understand, because you don't have that same type of energy around you. So it's not going to make sense to you. Right? Exactly. Sandra says, exactly. So consider it a blessing that you don't understand that, and let it go. Move on, because you aren't going to be able to. It's like, look at it this way. It's like somebody just said a sentence in a completely foreign language that you were absolutely not familiar with. You're going to spend the rest of your life trying to figure out what that language is? No, because it's not something you understand. So just go, let it go. Okay. Some people just resonate on a lower vibrational level, and you will never match that, and you shouldn't be trying. And there are people that are completely oblivious, because here's the next one. There are some people that are completely oblivious to the word self-reflection. They do not have the cognitive or the spiritual capacity at the level that they are at to self-reflect and see what they've done. And there is nothing you are going to do to change that. You shouldn't be trying to change it, but you're not going to try to change it. People have to make it at their own pace. The whole thought process of, oh, everyone's equal, we're all fair, yada, yada, yada. That does not apply when we're talking about levels of where people are spiritually. That's just a hard truth. Everybody is not on the same level as far as the things that they've learned or the things that they need to grasp. And if you believe in reincarnation, then you understand that, because in your view, people have to be born again and again and again and again until what? They get it right. So every time you're born, you're moving up, hopefully. You're learning, right? You're progressing. You got to get to this higher level of consciousness. If you believe in a more traditional religious Christian background, then what? You believe you were born and you're either failing or you're passing. And ultimately, after you go through this life and you pass away, then you're going to be, judged accordingly and placed into whichever, space is resonating with how you acted. So don't try to change other people because we're not all meant to come through this exactly in the same space. And it's just not going to happen. So consider yourself lucky, consider yourself blessed, consider yourself full of gratitude. If when you watch other people do stuff, you're shaking your head because you're just like, how could someone do that, right? How could someone go back to the person I was talking about before? How can someone judge someone else who's lost a spouse? Like, what kind of space is that? How or why do you feel justified in being able to tell someone that they haven't mourned enough, that they're moving too far quickly, that they shouldn't be happy, basically, is what you're saying, right? No, it's not okay. All right, so next. I have a little note. You will absolutely drive yourself crazy trying to figure it out instead. So don't do it. We're not here to change people. Okay. I loved this. I wrote this down. You are not here to change people. You are here to bring change by changing yourself. I'm going to highlight that even for myself to come back to it because, like, this is a super good quote that I just created and I love it. So we're going to say it again. You are not here to change people. You are here to bring change by changing yourself. Well, that seems like a lot more narrow focus than trying to take on the world and change what everybody's doing. So I'm worried about myself. This even encompasses my own kids. I can show them through example the way that I want them to live their life, but I cannot force my children into a box to do what I think they should be doing. And if you try to do that, you will fail and be completely frustrated and miserable. Unless you just happen to have one of those kids that's like really super great at following along. And I don't have any of those, so I don't know. Hello. Hi, Catherine. How are you? Doing fantastic. Okay. So if we all focused on ourselves and stopped trying to change everyone else, what would we be? We would be at this like happier, higher place of harmony because we want to be judging, right? When we're trying to change people, what are we doing? We are ultimately judging the heck out of someone. Because if I need to change you, I am judging you because I don't think you're doing something the way that I think you should be doing. If you are around a person that you need to change like that, go away. Let that person go. They are not the right spouse for you. They are not the right friend for you. They are not the right teacher for you. They are not the right anything for you. I don't even care if it's your family member. If you have a family member that is constantly trying to change you and constantly trying to judge you, just let it go. I mean, I was joking with my friend today, but she made a comment and I was like, there's actually a lot of truth to this. We were talking about not being responsible for others' behaviors. And she said, honestly, and I was like, but really, right? If you're around someone and they want to be a drug addict, you know, be supportive and loving, be like, I love you still. But if you would, you know, some people are making a choice, like that's what they want to do. You're just banging your head on the wall if you're like trying to make someone stop doing something that they're not aligned to do. I know we want to save everyone, but we can't. Okay. Then I also want to caveat with this one because this one's huge for me. Okay. So how do we get through this space where we don't react to people that are being mean? Because, you know, I mean, raise your hand. If in the past 30 days, you've been in an argument with somebody, in the past 60 days, 90 days. I mean, if you're like, no, I haven't really, like, really, have you been in an argument with somebody in the past year? Have you been in an argument that is publicly viewable? I mean, I've been blown away by some of the things that people, by some of the things that people are willing to post that other people can read, right? I know a lot of people have had to like cut themselves away, refrain from using social media because it gets to be too much. I mean, you either grab a bowl of popcorn and watch it for the entertainment value, or it's going to make your blood curdle if people are going at it. And it is not healthy. It is not a positive way to spend your energy. Arguing with someone online is never going to get you anywhere. Hello. Hello from Nepal. Yeah, being in an argument with family is like the worst. And here's why I feel like that. is a true statement, at least for me. I feel like when you're arguing with family, there are no boundaries because, like, I've seen some of the shady stuff that um, family members have done to each other. And I'm like, would you do that to somebody outside of your family? And I don't think they would because they would be embarrassed. But for some reason, because it's your own family, they feel like it's okay. It's okay to say the things they say. It's okay to act the way they act. It's okay to, um, I had a close family member who is the clergy in my town that I tried to rectify some past grievances with, and he wouldn't have anything to do with it. And I was like, well, if I wasn't a family member, I think you would feel like you would need to. But for some reason, because we're family, he feels like he doesn't have to follow the rules or the policies or the whatever he's supposed to be following in the clergy role that he is in. And it was just really weird to me because even the higher level up person from him, when I kind of brought that up, they were like, oh, well, that's a family thing. I'm like, so family things don't count as far as like having to follow the guidelines of this specific church's structure. Okay, got it. But yeah, so family can be the worst when it comes to people being mean. It's like almost like they have it in their head that they can say and do whatever because you have to be there because you're family, right? So I can basically call you anything I want. I can say things to you at a family gathering that I would never say to another human being just because you're my sister, right? Or just because it's my mom. My mom says things to me that she would never say to another person, something along the lines of that, right? Behind closed doors. You see people out in public. There was someone the other day that I was like, if this guy is willing to treat this girl like this out in public, I can only imagine how he's treating her when the doors are closed, right? Because usually you're embarrassed. And so you have a little bit of reservation. Um, you know, you're not out yelling at your kids out in Walmart quite like you would at home, although I'm here nor there. Like I don't do anything different anywhere I am, but for the most part. But yeah, so let's talk about these people that do this, okay? I love the phrase, why are you worried about what someone else is thinking about you when they hate themselves? And that's a really strong face. Like I've before had someone be like, oh, don't use the word hate. It's so ugly. I use the word hate in the contents that the word hate belongs. There literally are people that absolutely detest their own selves. And so we're running around with people that are super mean, that do not like themselves. And that is a projection of how they feel about themselves being directly projected onto you. And it makes them feel better because that is the only way they know how to get any satisfaction because they are that miserable. So when I'm around someone and they are losing their ever living mind and they are acting completely out of character, or they are saying things or doing things or having a complete breakdown, I always take a step back because in the past, I'm a reactor. I'm one of those people that I'm just going to tell you how it is right off the bat. I'm going to be like, yeah, you're acting, whatever. And I'm not going to hide it. But I realized a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, I realized at some point that when I respond that way, I give that person some of my energy. And I'm not willing to hand you out some of my energy currency because it's valuable to me. So I will now allow you to act however you would like. But I don't put any effort into valuing what you're doing. If I'm not aligned with how you're acting, then I just let you act like that. As long as you're not physically hurting me, doing some super big damaging thing to me, I don't really care what you're doing. Even if somebody was calling me out online, I'd be like, yeah, like my tribe, my actual real tribe knows that what you're saying is not true. So, don't put effort into it. People are projecting. And sometimes it's simple projection. Like there's times when I've been really tired, I don't get enough sleep, and it just puts me on this like really irritable state, right? So I'm very cautious. Like I know that I'm going to be defensive. I know that I'm going to be confrontational. And so I make sure that I don't engage in any type of place where I could get into a confrontation with someone. And I also, like, let's say that I was in that space where I was really tired and I was feeling pretty confrontational. I would make sure that if I went somewhere like Walmart, man, I sure like to use Walmart because that's the only place I ever go. That if I was going to go into Walmart, that I know that I'm in that space. So if I see someone and they start to irritate my soul, I'm going to not respond. And I catch myself right off the get-go. Like, hey, don't start handing out this person these energy dollar bills because they're not worth it. And just let it go, right? Unless I saw someone beating someone, because that, like, you know, I have limits. If I see someone physically beating someone, don't be that person that just whips out your phone and takes a freaking video. You will not be my hero, okay? Every time I see something where someone's like, oh, this lady was being, you know, abused by this guy and people are standing on the subway and everybody's just watching her. No, that's not, you're not being a hero in my book. Okay. All right. So there you go. We're going to recap here. Don't try to figure out why other people are being mean because you never will unless you resonate on their same level. And we're not here to resonate on a lower level. So like your mom probably already told you, don't go down to the lower level. Don't match people. Match people higher, but not lower. You don't have the ability to understand because it's not in your frequency. You're here to change yourself, not anyone else. So stop trying to take on the burden of fixing everyone. We'll go back to my quote. You are not here to change people. You are here to bring change by changing yourself. Okay? Don't people please. And remember that a way a person acts or treats you is 100% a projection of how they feel about themselves. So when people are saying mean things to you, especially in a public place where people can see it, that is a huge projection of how that person feels about themselves. They are willing to take on attention, even at a cost that it makes them look silly, honestly. It's like when your kids, it's like when you haven't given your kid enough attention and they're willing to get in trouble just to get some attention from you. It's kind of the same thing. All right. Okay, guys, love you lots. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night or morning or day or whatever it is for you. And I will see you next Monday, if not sooner. I've put my links. If you haven't jumped on my Facebook group, I have lots of free resources. If you resonate that this energy stuff is something you'd like to dive into, I put my course stuff down. I do have a practitioner course. I also have a channeling course you can get into. Lots of beautiful, delicious stuff. Okay. Blessed night. See you later, guys.